There we go. I am live, it says. Oh my gosh. Hello, everyone. I tried to start the stream earlier, and I have had a time. I have had a hard time doing this. No lie. So, we're here now, though. That's what counts, right? We are here now. Please leave me your comments. Hello, everyone. Rebounding glory to God. What's up, Gracie? You said. Hi. It has been a journey. Oh, no. Mochi, of course, is here, and she is grabbing the cords. Mochi, say hi to everyone. Say, hi, I'm Mochi. I'm here. Stop grabbing the cords. Why don't you sit on the bed? Okay. Hello, everyone. Oh my gosh, you all are so wonderful. Thank you so much for being here. Lexi Boom says hello. Hi, Lexi Boom. Crystally, is that your name? That's really cool. How am I doing? I'm a little stressed. I'm not going to lie. One of you sent me a microphone that was on my Amazon wish list that I was incredibly excited about. And I set it all up. Look, you can kind of see a little bit of it here. I set it all up, right? And I was trying to get it to work for the live, and nothing. It's not connecting for some reason. I don't know what's going on. So I'm going to have to... I have a friend who has the same microphone, so maybe I'll ask her about it and see. Oh my gosh, Mochi. Can you all hear Mochi right now? She's done. But she was playing in on my bed with stuff. Oh my gosh. Oh, pets, am I right? Okay, so anyway, I tried to get on here so much sooner than what I am now, and I was having a darn time going on. I was like, why? It's not picking up my recording. It's not picking up the sound. Nothing is working. And I was like, forget it. I'll just plug the lav mic in and we'll do this thing, right? Because I said on the community page, I was going to go live. So I was like, well, I have to keep my word. So I have to go live. And I wanted to do it sooner rather than later because I know some people are in Central Time. Some people are, just different time zones. Okay, but I'm here. I made it and I'm okay. And I'm glad that you all are here. Look at all of you on right now. I appreciate it. Thank you. And I had put on the community page as well, like, hey, I'm going live. What should we talk about? I just wondered. I was kind of taking a poll to see what things people were kind of interested, what areas people were interested in discussing or headed towards. And it doesn't mean we necessarily have to focus on that topic or focus on exactly that one thing, but I just kind of wanted to see where your minds were at, because as you all know, those who know me know I've been on here and I've been like, we have no agenda. We're just doing this thing, right? And that's a classic Gracie move. So I was trying to be a little more prepared, I guess, for it. And Mochi's doing a classic cat move, and she just threw some stuff off of the dresser. Cool. She's doing it again. Cool. Thanks, Mochi. Oh my gosh. So I feel flustered. I don't know how all you are feeling. It is a Tuesday for those of us I know some people are like, I'm in New Zealand, so it's Wednesday. So, I'm feeling flustered, but I feel so good talking to all of you. Like, it has really been helping me a lot to get on here and talk to each and every one of you and get to know this community a little better. I don't know how you all feel about it, but it really raises my spirits. Look, someone said, call me Jerry, said it's Wednesday morning here. Look, see, that's what I'm saying. Is I'm like, it's Tuesday night, but you're like, it's Wednesday morning. And that's totally fine. You're in the future. I get it, McFly. Okay. But it's been really healing and really good for me to come on here and talk to all of you. This week, this, not just this week, but the past few weeks, I've been having a really hard time, and I've been feeling a little bit depressed and down and kind of just really sad, to be honest. I'll just be transparent with you all. I have been feeling really sad about some stuff that I'm in the process of healing from. And like I've said before, healing is not linear. So sometimes you can feel so great. I feel mochi right now. Sometimes you can feel so great in your healing journey and you're like, I got this. I'm doing so well. Everything's great. And then you get kind of punched in the gut, where you're like, never mind, I feel like garbage kind of thing. And I'm kind of in the valley right now in my healing journey the past week or couple of weeks. So it's been wonderful though to have this outlet to come on and talk to all of you, get to know all of you, and just kind of share in that transparency of, yeah, I can come on and read a Bible verse in a video and it looks really fun and it looks like, man, wow, God is so powerful, and God is very powerful. Please do not get me wrong. Don't mishear what I am saying. What I am saying is that you can experience joy and grief at the same levels, the same extreme levels at the same time in your life. So I mean, I have a friend right now who's experiencing she is exploding in her career. She's doing such a wonderful job career-wise and having such an insane amount of success, and then in her personal life she's going through a divorce. I'm not saying, oh, it's me when I mean a friend. No, it truly is a friend of mine, and I've been learning that joy and grief truly go hand in hand. you know I think when you're a kid you experience stuff so intensely on one plane. Like you're like, this is the best day of my life, or you're like, this is the worst day of my life. You're very dramatic either way. And as an adult, you kind of learn, wow, simultaneously as a human, you experience stuff that's seemingly so exciting and so happy. You can also have this darkness and this grief and this pain that you're also dealing with at the exact same time. And it's really hard. It's really, um, I don't want to cry on a live again because I did that a couple of days ago. Um, but it's really tough, where you're like, man, this stuff is going so well. Oh, here comes Mochi. There she goes. Oh, she's gonna jump on her hammock. Y'all know she loves her little hammock. Oh, oh, oh. But normally I keep a chair in front of it so she can jump on the chair and then jump on her hammock. And I don't know if y'all could hear that, but there she goes. But I'm sitting in the chair that she normally jumps on for her hammock. Um, Sorry, Moch. Come here, baby. Anyway, and we all know Mochi's not my cat. She's my roommate's cat, but I love her and she's my little buddy. So let me check here the chat. Oh, if God is so loving, why do bad things happen? What a great question, Lou, the service dog. I think we often forget that God has his will, Satan has his will, 7 billion people on the planet have their own wills, right? So, because of free will, there's a lot enmeshed, a lot going on there. And as a kid, I used to think, and before I was a Christian as well, I used to think that that God kind of like could control us really and make people do certain things. And that's not the case, right? Without free will, what are we? So we have that free will, and with that will of choosing whether or not to love God and whether or not to pursue Christ also comes with not pursuing Christ, if that makes sense, where you're just like, hey, I there's a lot of people who don't know Christ, don't know God, don't serve and love him. And obviously A lot of us who are believers know that once you love God, you will obey his commands. If you don't know God, you're not going to obey those commands. I think every person here, I am sure, please put it in the chat. Tell me if you know somebody who's incredibly selfish, right? Tell me if you know somebody who's so self centered. And if we are really of Christ, if we are really Christians, Christian means of Christ. If we are really Christians and we are of Christ, we are not here to serve ourselves, right? We are not here to um, get ahead. We are here to sacrifice, to lay down our lives, and to be servants. And I think that was one of the biggest things that was a problem for Jews and Romans when Jesus was here on earth, was that the Jews were expecting this king who would come and be like all powerful, almighty, overturn the Roman Empire and come in on like a horse and with a sword and be like so strong and mighty. And what they didn't realize is that real power, the power of Christ really comes from servanthood. The power of Christ really comes from laying down your life. Because how hard is that to be like, this person or this group of people or these people are so terrible to me, but I am going to lay down my life for them. I am going to serve them. How much strength does it take to do that compared to like, I'm just going to overthrow them. I'm going to rule them, right? When you really think about it, servanthood is such a harder role to take. And it's just so much more powerful in thinking of power and thinking of justice and ruling in a kingdom. It's like even in our minds today, we still put people on pedestals. We put I mean, just think of the a celebrity that you are like, man, I would totally hang out with them. I would totally, do anything for them to be with them for a few minutes, for them to know my name. I I'm not even a big fan, but for some reason Beyonce always comes to my mind. So think of the idea of like Beyonce knowing your name and knowing you, right? Like how great does that feel to you? That feels incredible, right? You're like, "Oh, out of all the people in the world, Beyonce knows me." But then flip that and just take that notion. You can play Beyonce is a placeholder. Just put her in for whatever celebrity you are a huge fan of. Um you're like, Beyonce knows my name, right? But then think of that as Christ, right? Jesus Christ knows me, knows my name. He says, I'm so loved and I am so worthy. He's incredible, right? Like, we often kind of like, we get misconstrued in our ideas of power. And I don't even know how I got off on this tangent. I apologize because now I don't know where I'm going. But I think of that sometimes. And Ice Cappuccino, you're right. Celebrities are just like us. They should not be idolized. And please, in that ideology of like celebrities are just like us, they should not be idolized, correct? Put pastors there as well, or people who are in any sort of spotlight. Your pastor should not be idolized. Any sort of pastor, even if it's like, wow, they pastor a church of 100,000. Okay, but they are still just a person. They will still fail you. They still have flaws. They will still mess up. Even if you don't see it, a lot of times we don't see the screw ups of a pastor until they're huge, right? Until it's like, well, they had six affairs, with other people in the church, or whatever the thing is. It's like, please don't put your faith, don't put your foundation in a person. That pastor or that leader is still a person who is learning just like you. They are still a human who will screw up just like you. None of us are Jesus. None of us are perfect. We can strive for that perfection. We can try to walk in it daily, but I challenge you to sit there and think of yourself and be like, "Hey, when have I, even if I have followed all the commandments, even if I have done everything Jesus has said, let's be real, I have screwed up." Right? Like you definitely have. Even if it wasn't today, it was this week. Like don't try to sit there and tell me that you've been perfect all week. Like we thank you, Nicholas. You did come into the conversation at the right time. And Rue the Legend, yes, not too many people understand that. And I think that's when we find a lot of controversy in churches, is because we have held a pastor to such high esteem and they have done what is human. They have failed in a humanic, is humanic a word? They have failed in a humanitarian way. Would that be more what I should say? You know, and I think the best kind of pastors are the ones who are like, don't look to me for all this. Like, I'm just delivering this message, but I will tell you, build your foundation on Christ. And hi, Edwin. Hi, creep creeping mold. That's a funny name. Anyway, I'm trying to read the chat as well, but then I also kind of had a little tangent. I appreciate all of you coming in, but yes, I am, because I think sometimes too people come on my channel and because I read the Bible and because I pray, they have this higher expectation of me and I totally understand that. I know that I will be held accountable for certain things because I am spreading the word of God. I completely understand that and I believe that. But also I want people to know I am just a human. I'm nothing special. I am not perfection. I'm not even close. I do have a lot of regrets. I think people who say they have no regrets, I'm like, you're living some kind of life then, because I have a lot of regrets. And if we are honest with ourselves, if we really truly sit there and study ourselves and challenge ourselves, we know that we do have a lot of regrets. And thank you, God. Thank you so much that Jesus was sent to come and lay down his life for those regrets, right? Like we're going to give an account for things that we have done and things that we have said to God. But what I picture, and I don't even know if, none of us know what's going to happen on Judgment Day. But what I picture is that, like, when it's my turn to come to judgment, there's going to be a file cabinet that, like in, what is it, like, Bruce Almighty or whatever. And it's like that huge filing cabinet comes out. It's like there's going to be a file cabinet of stuff I've done or said that was incorrect, basically. But what I picture happening is that, yeah, I'm gonna have to go through each thing, but Jesus is gonna come up and be like, no, 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 I already died for all of this. And then I don't have to give an account for those kind of things. I don't know if that's really what's gonna happen, but that's just what I picture when I think of Jesus dying for us, right? Um, Oh, hello. Okay, I'm going to try to read some of the chat here. David Mueller says, we are not God. We are not God. We are not. So we're not perfect. We mess up. We screw up. We live in a fallen and a broken world. And the consequences of that, the symptoms of that are us being fallen and broken as well, right? Aaron, I didn't see your question. Go ahead and put it in again. You said this is deep. What was the question? Oh, wait. You asked me this is deep. What? I honestly don't remember. I just got off at a tangent and I was just going for it. Um, just call me Jerry says, but you have the courage to spread the word of God unlike other people. I wish I could do what you do, but I'm not at that stage of my spiritual walk. I feel, and that's okay. Just call me Jerry. That's okay. I think you can get there. You will get there. It sounds like you being aware of that issue, of that, where you're saying I want to be up here but I'm here right now. just the awareness of that brings you up. It brings you to a new level. So I encourage you to start your own YouTube channel, for real. Just get on there and start reading Bible verses, you know? Um, let's see. What else? Fox Gordon says, "What was your movie Good Girl about and how can we view it? Also, have you written any other movies?" Fox, how did you know about my movie? I'm very curious. Like, where did you see information about that? That's really what was I Okay, so I don't live there anymore, but this town that I lived in before had a 48-hour film festival. Gosh, this is so off tangent. This All of my lives are always like, what is happening? They have a 48-hour film festival, which means you go to the festival. Um, they give you a packet that tells you things that you can have in the film, things that you can't have in the film, whatever. And you have 48 hours to write it, to film it, to edit it, like to completely finish your film. It can only be 5 minutes or less. So Good Girl was part of that 48-hour film festival. And it's dark. It's very dark. It's one of the darkest things I've ever produced and written. So let's see. Thanks for the encouragement and prayer. You are welcome. When did you decide you wanted to read the Bible on YouTube? I think I started in mid-January. I think I started being really serious about spreading the gospel publicly online then. So let's see. The devil will always try to drive a wedge between you and God. Anything to distract you from God. Yes, JD. Literally anything. Just think about it too. If you're ever like, do y'all ever go? You're like, I gotta check my phone for the time because a lot of us don't wear watches anymore. But you're like, I gotta check my phone for the time. I've done this so many times where I'm like, looking at the time. I'll open 7 apps and then put my phone down and then be like, I never once checked the time. Not one time did I look at the time, even though that's the only thing I was checking my phone for. And I think that there's so many things that can distract us, right? It's not just our phone, not just technology, but just where is our time? Because just think, if you are tithing 10% of your income to God, are you tithing 10% of your time? Unless I'm not saying that to shame anybody or to like coerce anybody into tithing 2.4 hours of their life to God. I'm just curious. I have a special request. You should do a Q&A live soon. Oh, come on. Put the questions in right now. We will do it right now. Also, please like the live so it kind of gets pushed out there more. Apparently that's a thing. I didn't know. Do I like video games? I like Donkey Kong. I like Mario Brothers. Does that count? Is it true you made up stories for your classmates years ago? Yes. Did you read that on my IMDb, Iced Cappuccino? Yes. In 3rd grade, I think it was. I would tell people, this is so embarrassing. I was obsessed with the Power Rangers. And I would tell people in my class. So I knew that the pink Power Rangers name, the actor who played her was Amy Jo Johnson. I knew that. I would tell people in my class that Amy Jo Johnson and I were cousins. And I would be like, she took me on set. She showed me around. I think I just wanted to feel cool, so I would tell people that. Um, yeah, it was weird because also too at the time I'm like, now that I look back at it, I'm like 8-year-olds didn't even know what a set was. They probably didn't even know it was fake, to be honest. But here I was thinking like, oh, I'm gonna tell him this and it's gonna be so impressive. Or I remember in kindergarten, um, this boy and I became friends on the playground. I think he was like in 3rd or 4th grade, but we would pretend like we were brother and sister and we would talk as if we were. We'd be like, "Oh, are you going to grandma's house this weekend? Oh, have you seen our other cousin?" I don't know. I think we just wanted to feel cool. I don't know why we would do that. It was silly. Let's see. You enjoyed my video on stage. Thank you. I appreciate that. Yes, yes, yes. We don't agree with everything. Yeah, who's gonna agree with everything? Number one, we don't even know all the right answers, right? Like we can all we're just guessing, especially for like things like the rapture or judgment day or what's heaven like, you know? None of us know. We're not gonna know till we get there. Oh yeah, you like have I watched The Chosen? Yes, I've watched season 1 because I've not yet gone to season 2, and most of you who have been on my lives know why. And it's because I'm a crier. So I cry a lot. I really like the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Yes. Michelangelo was always my favorite because he was so goofy and weird, and I always thought he was the most fun. So I told myself like, man, if I ever get to know those Ninja Turtles, I want to be Michelangelo's friend. Hello, hello. Hi, hi, hi. If I have not responded to a question that you've had, please just go ahead and like re-put it in the chat. Sometimes too, when I get on tangents, I don't look at the chat. So, oh, thank you, Matthew. That's very sweet. Thank you for reading Bible verses. It's very warming. It's helped me. Good. I am very glad. I know a lot of people get upset because I read different translations. I just think that it's important to educate yourself on various translations. But y'all know I have said so many times commentary, 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 study commentary, you know? Um, get on that Blue Letter Bible app and or website and study because it gives you access to so many commentaries. So get on there and look up those commentaries. Not only will it tell you the contextual information, the societal information, it'll often tell you like, hey, this is the Greek or Hebrew word for this at the time, and this is what it means. And it's really beautiful. What's my favorite pizza? Cheese pizza with tomatoes. Definitely. Definitely. What is the video about? Which video? This one? Gotta be a little more specific for me. Do you have your show yet this week? Oh, no. I have it on Wednesday. Wednesday at 10 o'clock. Y'all, I'm already tired for this show, right? And it's a new format that I have to do that I've actually been trying to be like, wait, do I remember how to do this? Oh, yeah. Okay, let's see. As a teenager, I came in contact with various platforms such as TikTok, and I would like to know if dancing TikTok dances is bad. Shiloh, I have to ask you though, what is your motivation in dancing and showing off your dances online? Is it just to be like, cool, look at this dance I learned, fun? Or is it to be like, um, to get attention from people that you are attracted to? If that is the case, maybe hold off, you know? I personally don't think there's anything wrong with dancing, but yes, it does depend on your motivation, just like with anything. What's your motivation for it? How are you portraying it? What are you using it for? That kind of thing. Just ask yourself those kind of questions. Do dogs go to heaven once they pass away? I hope so, because we don't deserve dogs. They love us so well. And man, you're going to make me cry answering that. Does pineapple belong on pizza though? I would say no, but a lot of you on the poll said 100% yes. So y'all got me scared. Oh, yes, someone might trick me to say something inappropriate. Yes, thank you, middle child. You are exactly right. What's this live about? What is this live not about? Okay. Do I watch David Wood? No. Is that like a pastor? Is that a comedian? I never know with these things because y'all know I do comedy as well. Oh, man. Oh, I get a lot, thank you, Carlos. I get a lot of, comparisons to Linda Cardellini, who maybe some of you have seen her on like Dead to Me or Freaks and Geeks. She's also Velma on Scooby Doo. And even when I watched Dead to Me, I was like, that's me. Like, even that character was like, that's me. 100%. Is water wet? You know it is. Let's see. Okay. You enjoy the 700 Club. Very nice. The Strong's Concordance is a great way to learn the translations of the Greek and Hebrew words and how they relate to each situation they are being used in the scripture. That's beautiful. Thank you so much for sharing that, Rhonda. I'm always very excited. The more I can learn, the more excited I get, and then the more I want to learn, right? It's like when you start to realize like, oh, hey, this specific Greek or Hebrew word used this way means one thing, and in our language we only have so many words to mean that thing, right? And it just becomes like super beautiful. You forgot about Freaks and Geeks. Honestly, I've never seen it, but I had somebody comment the other day and they were like, are you that girl from Freaks and Geeks? Do I believe in pre-tribulation rapture? I don't know yet, to be honest. I'll be very transparent about that. Oh, you love my personality. Well, thank you. God gave it to me. Yeah, I don't know. I think I've studied Revelation a lot, and it doesn't come across to me the same way it does in mainstream media or mainstream Christianity, if that helps you at all. Let's see. What else? What Bible do you use and what chapters do you recommend when you are starting or want to start Bible studying? Okay, so actually, I have it right here for once, right? My main Bible that I use is the New Living Translation. This is actually Candace Cameron Bure's Bible. If y'all don't know who that is, she was DJ Tanner on Full House. But as you can see, that's the one I've been using to study with the most. Yes, people have asked me, do you highlight? Do you whatever? I highlight, I write in the margins, I write on Post-it notes when I don't have enough room. And I use the Blue Letter Bible app to study commentary. So what I normally do is I read a chapter, whatever chapter I decide. Typically, I pick a book and I go with it until I'm done. And I will read one chapter of that. And what I like to do is I will read the chapter all the way through and I'll highlight things that stick out to me. Just like beautiful verses or just things that are speaking to my life right then. And then what I do is I will go through the Blue Letter Bible app and choose a commentary. I usually just pick the one guy who I've been studying for a while. And I then go verse by verse that way with it. And I will take notes based on that. And it's been really helpful. It's been really, really good to study things that way. And I like to recommend, go ahead and for any person who's reading the Bible for the first time, I always like to recommend reading John. Read John first. It's very beautiful. It's very poetic. If you want to read more action very quickly, read Mark. And you can read Matthew. Matthew's a lot more detailed. And read Luke. I'm a huge fan of Luke. Luke and then Acts, because Luke also wrote Acts, even though it kind of goes out of order in the Bible. A lot of us are familiar with the idea that the Bible is completely out of order, right? It's not chronological whatsoever. But if you read Luke, then Acts. Acts is going to kind of tell you about the early church and how things got set up. Romans is very deep. It's very heavy. It's going to teach you a lot, but I think you kind of have to know, have a firmer foundation before you just dive right into Romans. So let's see. Okay, let me get back to the chat. Thank you all. You're currently reading Exodus right now. Wow, wow, wow. But you're reading chronological order. Okay, wonderful. I love the fact that you use different translations of the words. It helps people who are just starting to read scripture to understand. They can grow more and get more revelations from the word. I agree. That's why I do it. Um, why is the Bible so big? Because there's so many books. There's 66 books in there, you know? Hey from Georgia. Nice, nice, nice. You want, okay. American Top Gunner says, I want the laws, what I must do and how I must live. I want to know what to do. Okay, well, then I encourage you to read the Gospels Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John, right? Because the Old Testament is called the Old Testament for a reason. It is full of laws, it's full of rules, it's full of regulations. But then what happens is Jesus comes and he dies for all of that stuff. And he creates a new law, new commandments. So I encourage you to focus on that first and then dive into that Old Testament. All right. What are your reasons for being a vegetarian? Jesus ate lamb after he was resurrected and was recorded to have eaten fish. Hope I do not offend with this question. No, Fox, you are not offending me at all. So, in that time, and even in other parts of the world right now, the consumption of meat is much different than it is in America. In America, we are producing meat at an alarming rate, right? We are pumping chickens full of hormones so that they grow faster. They grow bigger, faster, which I have personally seen with my own eyes, where they are so large that they cannot even stand on their own two legs because of the hormones that have been pumped inside of them. And it just makes them grow so quickly. They're like, nah, I can't stand up. Not a fan of that. Also, just the environmental impact eating meat has on the world is crazy once you look into it. Once you look into like um the carbon footprint that it leaves, or the fact that the rainforest is being torn down in order to create room for agriculture, is wild to me, because that's not even a um, physical environment in which agriculture can thrive, or where it's meant to thrive. So that's why I am a vegetarian. And also, um, I feel so much better on a plant based diet. So if you are not feeling great about yourself, I encourage you, go plant based for 2 weeks or cut out meat for like a day and see what happens. I'm not preaching this any sort of agenda to anybody or anything like that. It's just what I do, and I felt amazing. Before, when I ate meat, I felt really sluggish, and I felt yeah, sluggish is definitely the word for it. But after that, and going vegetarian, like, I just felt lighter and I felt better. I was able to get myself in check more and not have as many, or really any, health issues the way that I was when I was eating meat. But I have heard that in other countries, the meat is so much healthier and better. So, which I believe that for sure. Okay. Do you still use the message? I actually have the message just right over there. Yes. The message is just a paraphrase, though. So just be aware of that. Um, it's not really like considered a translation, it's more considered a paraphrase. But I do like to throw it up on the site every now and then, just because it is in common day vernacular, and um, it can speak to people now. And vernacular means just like modern day language, right? Let's see. What else do y'all have to say? Nothing like a fresh veggie with some good old ranch. Nice. Are you more energetic with eliminating meat? Yes. Vitamins and minerals, good gut bacterial with prebiotics and probiotics. Yes. What genres of music do you like? I love 80s pop for sure, 90s, anything 90s. and Christian. Yeah. What do I do to stay in shape? I run and I do intermittent fasting. It's just the best thing for my body personally. I don't try to recommend it to anybody unless it's like something you've tried and you're like into it. What type of gospel music do you recommend? Um, Upper Room, Maverick City. I like Hillsong. I like, y'all have heard me say so many times before, I like Lauren Daigle, Stephanie Gertzinger, you know, any of those things. Let's see. The Bible does include a lot of references to fasting. Yes. Fasting is my favorite discipline for sure. It's definitely like a private thing. And, if you're going to fast for an extended period of time, that's something, you know, you're not doing it to be like, brr, 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 look at me. Do I like For King and Country? I love them. When I was going through a really dark time several years ago, I discovered the music of For King and Country, and it really lifted me up out of such a dark area. It made me feel seen and made me feel loved, and it was a way that what I was feeling was put into words. 80s pop, your all-time favorite, Griswold. Yeah, 80s pop is a blast, right? Like, it's just really fun, and it's like, it's just lighthearted and, let's see. I know some of you all have had more questions. Audio Adrenaline, oh my gosh. Yeah. I remember seeing Audio Adrenaline, this was a really long time ago, at the Grand Ole Opry in Nashville. And the guy, I can't remember his name now, but he was the lead singer of Audio Adrenaline. And he was saying that was going to be one of his last performances because he was going to lose his voice in 5 years if he didn't stop singing. And I felt so bad. But Audio Adrenaline was a good one. Do I have a favorite Christian radio station? No, I don't listen to Christian radio. I can't even tell you the last time I listened to the radio, to be honest. Leo says, I'm baptized already, but how long should you wait after you receive Jesus? I think that's just a personal choice. If it's like you receive Jesus and they're like, we're doing baptisms today, and you're like, I want to do it, then do it. But if it's, 3 months or however long, I think that's fine too, Skillet is a really great band, Griswold. You are 100% right. Are you non-denominational or do you follow a particular denomination? I am non-denominational because I want to see unity in the church. The Bible often talks about, believers being united and how silly it is to be divided by various things. And so I just hope, for that. Because oftentimes, if you look at denominations, they are divided by silly things, right? Doesn't God's word help so much during dark times? Yes, it does, John. You are 100% correct. Do you think 14 is a good age to accept Jesus and be baptized? Yes, I think any age. I think if you were 99 years old on your deathbed and you wanted to accept Jesus and get baptized, I would be all for it. I'd probably cry my eyes out, let's be honest. Y'all are wonderful, by the way. Thank you so much for everybody being so respectful and kind in the chat and just in comments and stuff. I know you often all don't see a lot of the comments I have to deal with, but for the most part, everybody's just so wonderful. Have you had dreams and visions from God? Wow, that's such a deep question. Yes, I have. Hi, Tessa. I love that you said, hey, it's Tessa again. As if you're leaving a voicemail or something. Hey, it's me, Tessa, just calling again to check in. Right? Very cute. I love it. I love it. I love it. Y'all know I got to get my electrolytes. Hello, Logan. Oh, Jesus has visited you in a dream. Yeah, an exercise that um I had to do one time. This was a very long time ago, but um the pastor had us, we all closed our eyes and we pictured these different, she named off different people who were, in societal terms, they were terrible, you know, um, and we had to picture Jesus, them meeting with Jesus in the afterlife, and just kind of like what that would look like. And each time I pictured like a beautiful moment of reconciliation, regardless of what this person had done, which is obviously a very hard pill for the world to swallow. But then she was like, okay, now picture yourself coming to Jesus in that same kind of moment. And what does that look like? And I pictured Jesus, like, open arms, excited to see me. And I was like, no, 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 no. We need to talk about some things. I've got some questions for you. Now, that's not what I picture now, because honestly, I would just cry. We all know I'm a crier. So it is what it is, friends. I have the honor of displaying God's softness, and that's what I'm going to do. Let's see. So you're really enjoying this. You just started to open a Bible? Yeah, I encourage you all. Also, it's like if you're having a hard time and you're feeling down, go read those Psalms. The Psalms are like a roller coaster of emotion, right? Because it shows us the highs and lows of humanity, of being a person who's like, um, God, I love you and I'll praise you forever with my lips, to like the depths of the valley where you're like, God, why aren't you listening to me? Where are you? You're not even here, you know? And I think even the disdain that comes in those hard scriptures is hopeful, you know? It's like, it's just wild too, the screw ups that King David had, that even in his mess ups, he's still got to be in the lineage of Christ, right? Like, it's just wild. It's wild to me. Y'all are wonderful. Thank you all so much. I appreciate it. I appreciate all of the support, the comments, the views. It sounds kind of yucky to be like, watch my videos, because you're like, but it's how the algorithm works, you know. Let's see. You're reading Psalms and Romans right now. Oh my, you're heavy. You just hurt yourself by accident. Oh my. I am so sorry to hear that. I think a lot of us are going through a lot of turmoil right now and a lot of pain. And my prayer for you is that even in your pain and your anguish, you don't use that as a lens to see other people. You don't use that as a lens to see God. You don't use that as an excuse to treat people poorly. But that you use it as a way, as a scale to be like, you know what? This is my pain, but this is the good stuff, and I'm gonna keep serving people, and loving them. It's a lot, right? There's only so much as a human that you can do. But we're all doing our best. Do you ever wonder when you see a homeless person or down and out, what if that were Jesus? Yes, I think about that often. And where I live, there is a massive homeless population. And unfortunately, a lot of them too are unsafe. So it's not safe for me to approach this person. And I feel really bad about that often. because I'm like, I would love to go and talk to this person or help them, but it's physically unsafe for me to do so. But yeah, I do think about that. You should do longer Bible reading videos. Thank you. Oh, y'all are wonderful. Raphael says, I'm going through a period of great disappointment now. My sadness is so great that I feel it has affected my trust in God, and that saddens me a lot. That is fair, I think. There have been times that um that I have talked to God and I have been like, am I the only one who cares about this? Between you and me, God, am I the only one out of the two of us that cares about this? And you know what? God can handle that completely. He can handle that anger and those questions and, you know, fix your camera, please. Sorry, Scott. It's just on my computer. It looks great to me. Um, let's see. All we can do is get on our knees and pray for the homeless. Yeah, but we can also like actively do stuff as well. But for those people for sure that I'm like, I'm not safe to help them, I'm going to pray. Yeah, for sure. Let's see. What other questions do you all have? Let's go there. I know what you're talking about. I worked in downtown Atlanta for a brief time, and there were lots of people in need, plenty of areas with homeless. Oh, yes, Brian. Oh my gosh, Brian. For a summer, I went to Atlanta and I did church on the street. I don't know if y'all have ever heard of that. I don't even know if it still exists, but it's literally a ministry just for homeless people. It was terrifying. There was a young boy in our group, maybe he was about 11 or 12, and apparently this group of homeless people, for some reason they wanted to kidnap this boy in our group, and we had to get the FBI involved, and they had to come and we never like saw them, but they came and like just watched while we did this ministry. But yeah, it was crazy, but I also just like saw so much joy in a person getting a pair of socks, or getting something so small. It was wild. So it was again that balance of like, this is insane and scary, but this is wonderful and amazing, where you're like, ah, 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 ah. Yeah, it was wild. What do I do for a living? That's a great question. Right now, my day job, I work at a post production company. I also make movies, mostly short films, and I write and I do comedy and I do this. I don't get paid to do this, but I do this. Come to India for ministry, please. Listen, I want to write a book and I want to travel and speak. So if you can make that happen, then I'll do it. I'll show up. Do you speak Spanish? No, I wish I did. Yes, I'll definitely pray for your family. You're good at comedy. Thank you. I don't even try. I do have a show this week. It's really late at night because comedy just lives at night, I guess. Y'all, I just thinking about the time of the show, I'm like, I am tired. I am tired just thinking about it. Like a clean Aubrey Plaza. That's so funny. It must be clean comedy. Well, I can play clean, but it doesn't mean the other people that I'm with are going to be clean. You know? Thank you. Thank you. Y'all are very kind. I appreciate it very much. What type of comedy do you do? Just asking. Like to watch some videos. Are you like Kevin Hart? So Kevin Hart is a stand-up, and then also obviously like in movies. And I do improv. I've done stand up a few times, but honestly, it made me terrified and sick to my stomach. I wanted to throw up before I ever went on. And oof, because it's very vulnerable. Comedy is very vulnerable. Even if you don't think it is, it definitely is. I promise you. But for some reason, I am more scared of having my jokes written and memorized to perform than I am going and doing improv where you know nothing. You have no idea what you're going to say or what you're going to do. I thrive in that environment for some reason, which I think is weird. I don't know why I do a great job in that area, um, and not in having stuff memorized. I don't know. It doesn't make sense to me, but it's one of my favorite things to do ever. Just go on stage and be like, "Can we get a word of anything at all?" Okay, great. Now we're going to make you laugh by it, right? It's very fun. Well, thank you, Brian. I think you all are very lovely and wonderful humans as well. 63 people on here. Nice, nice, nice. How do you pray a long time, especially when our flesh pulls like disturb or can't pray long? Okay, so in my own, yes, Michelle, hi. I can shout you out. Michelle, hello. In my own prayer life, it is different than what I do on the channel. So I get a lot of grief online for praying publicly. People want to often quote Matthew, what is it, like 6:5 or something like that. I don't know. I honestly don't remember. But they get mad that I'm praying um, for an audience, but I'm not. I'm really just praying to bring comfort and peace and hope to other people. But um, my own prayer life to pray a long time um, is I have a chair in my room and I picture Jesus sitting in that chair, and I am, of course, like on my knees in whatever way that looks like. Sometimes I'm on my face, whatever, and I'm just talking. I'm not I'm not trying to do anything fancy. I'm not trying to say anything fancy. I'm literally just like I will seriously sometimes too I'm like, Jesus, I know you already know about all of this because you were there, but I'm going to tell you. This was my day and this is what I'm feeling. Just those thoughts that you have in your mind that maybe you don't tell anybody else. I will be like, hey, I'm scared of this happening, or hey, I'm thinking this is going to happen. Hey, I'm having anxiety about this. Hey, I'm excited about this. Hey, I'm loving this. Whatever it is, whatever it just, to me, it just looks like talking to your best friend, except for like my best friend is sitting in a chair and I'm on the floor. So, yeah, please don't feel like you have to say certain words or do certain things or be a certain way to pray or even have like a certain amount of time. You don't. Like, I think God just like loves hearing from you. I also just like pray all throughout the day in my mind, like those conversations that you're having in the back of your mind where you're like, just thoughts that you're having about certain things. You're like, oh, this person drives me nuts, or oh, I'm scared about this, or whatever. I am instead thinking about that in terms of like, I'm telling this to Jesus. Yeah, thank you, Edwin. Just be you. Y'all are great. Can I do another live tomorrow? I would love to. I really liked going live with you all. You all are actually like, have been so kind and sweet and have had great questions. And you all know that I'll be the first person to tell you if I don't know the answer, I don't know the answer. I'm not trying to impress anybody. I'm not trying to be like, I have all the answers because I'm the first person to tell you I have no answers. I'm going to go to Jesus just as much as all of you are, you know? Um, oh my, what a question, Fox. Is there anyone you think might be the Antichrist now? No. How do you think the mark of the beast will manifest? I don't know. but I don't think that we're anywhere close to it just yet. But it may come out of nowhere. You never know. The vibe of this chat is nice too. You're right, David. This is so much better than last time. Last time I was like, man, I gotta block people. That makes me feel bad. I don't like blocking people, you know? Okay. Shiloh says, I have a problem where I tend to be too nice to people, and sometimes I need to stand up for myself. How do you stand up for yourself? Are you equally mean or try to have a nice comeback? Okay, Shiloh, listen. I don't know if you are male or female, but women growing up, we are often taught be nice, be a nice girl, be nice. That's not right. There is a difference between being nice and being kind. Being nice is like, I'll be a doormat. I'll let this stuff slide. Being kind means like, you know what? I will go ahead and correct you where you're at because what you're doing is not okay, but I'm doing it in love or out of love. So I think I think stating your boundaries and being like, hey, I'm uncomfortable with this. I don't like this, whatever it is that they're doing. That's okay for you to say. And people who have a problem with it, that says so much more about them than it does about you, right? That means that they are maybe not in a place to receive that information, or maybe not, they're exactly where you were suspecting they were going to be. So, just having those boundaries within yourself and holding them, and don't relent on those. Let's see. I miss praying and reading the Bible daily. I stopped a long time ago and it's hard to get back to it. Yeah, any habit is hard to get back to, right? Like if you were a runner every day and you're like, I stopped for 3 months, you're going to have a hard time getting back to it. It's just go back little by little. I was always nice, but now it seems I have to correct everyone around me. Yeah, you probably do. Is it fair to treat people how they treat you? I say no. Because I think I'm thinking of the negative side of it. Like if someone treats you like garbage, is it cool for you to treat them like garbage? No. What does Jesus ask us to do? Turn the other cheek. And what that means in that time contextually, turn the other cheek didn't mean like somebody hit you, so then you turn the other cheek. It meant like turn the other cheek meant like somebody deeply insulted you. And so I think too, when you meet evil with evil, which is what, the Bible often calls that, is like paying back evil with evil doesn't lead to any good. That's such an intense paraphrase. But when you repay good with evil, even if that person doesn't respond well, then that doesn't matter. You're not looking for their response. You are doing what you know is right? Like you're doing what is best for you in your heart. Let's see. You're still run over quite a bit. Yeah. You just have to stand up for yourself. And if people don't like it, that's on them. That's not on you. You don't have to be a doormat. Yes, turn the other cheek was a metaphor. Never meet evil with evil. Just leave them. Yeah, you're right. You're right. You're right. Have I ever heard God's voice? What a good question. Some of these questions, though, it's like you could kind of put on the spot where you're like, it's like when someone asks you, like, what's your favorite song? And you're like, I've never heard a song in my life, even though you're like, I listen to music every day. That kind of stuff. I don't know. I don't know if I've heard it like audibly, if that makes sense. I can't think of a moment right now, but I feel like I'll be thinking about this later and I'll be like, oh no, there was that one time that was so intense and purposeful. Is it still forgiveness if you say you forgive someone but never want to interact with them again because of their actions? 100%. 100%. You can forgive somebody and you can have nothing to do with them, and that's okay. That's a boundary. Yeah, we do it for God, you know? You're not trying to repay evil with evil. If somebody's rude to you, please, please, I encourage you, do not be rude back. You know, you can say like, "This isn't not okay." Like there was just a few weeks ago, I was on the phone with someone. I was needing help with something. I didn't really know what I was doing, but I was needing help, and this person was the only person that could help me, and he was being incredibly rude for no reason. Like right away, he was rude. Um, And I had even told him like, "Hey, we don't need to be rude to each other." I sometimes do I'll take it on as if it's both of us to kind of like lighten the load of it to be like, "Hey, we don't need to be rude to each other," you know. And then he was of course continued to be rude and was like, "Ma'am, I am not being rude." And so then I said, "Well, your voice is a little spicy." I didn't know how else to say it, you all. I wanted to say sassy, but sassy wasn't I didn't feel like sassy was a kind enough word. And so I was like, well, your voice sounds a little spicy. So if we could just hold off on that, that would be helpful. So you could always tell somebody, quit being spicy. I don't know how helpful that'd be. Oh my gosh. Maybe I was hungry for hot wings, only if they're vegetarian. And after that too, I could feel that I think because I also called it out and I named it. I named what was going on, and he knew that I knew, "Hey, you're being incredibly rude." He kind of stopped through gritted teeth. Like I could hear him talking through gritted teeth. But yeah, he was being a little spicy for me. It was not helpful. And after I hung up the phone, I did almost cry, but I was like, let me just regulate my nervous system. So, also, I just can't believe I called somebody's voice spicy. It was the only term I could think of. I'm an improviser, but it was the only term I could think of at the moment. So, I did my best with what I had at the time. You know, you know. So, yes, you can still hold your boundaries, hold your space without being rude, without, and if somebody thinks that you're rude because you're holding boundaries, that's on them, you know. People who don't like your boundaries will, they'll be the first people to speak up and be like, whatever they're saying. But I encourage you to continue to hold space for yourself, please. Okay, one of the biggest complaints, Brian says, one of the biggest complaints I've heard from those in the world is that they've seen the hypocrisy of Christians treating others horribly. Treating others with love is one of our best tools. Yes. Y'all, listen, if you're going out to eat after church on a Sunday, you better be the best tipper in that restaurant. Because I am so tired of hearing waiters and waitresses say, hey, my worst tippers are people from the church. Gross. Gross. How dare you? You need to be the kindest person that they've ever encountered, right? I agree, though. I have seen and experienced a lot of people who are Christians who are the most judgmental, the meanest, the nastiest people I know. And then my friends who are atheists be the kindest, most thoughtful people I know. And it makes me so sad because what's the point for them, for that atheist friend then? You know, like we are supposed to be different. We are set apart. We are not set aside. We are set apart in holiness. So that means you better be the best person who loves somebody. You better be like the most kind, the most loving. You better not be the person who's like that they're the meanest, they're the nastiest, they are so rude, they're the worst tipper. Don't you dare be the worst tipper in a restaurant. Don't you dare. You know? Yeah, worldly Christians. What do you not like? Oh, what do you not like? When they use the Lord's name in vain. Yeah, yeah, yeah. You're a minimalist, Glenn? I am a minimalist as well. Willow. Well, you know what, Willow? You can watch the video tomorrow. They dropped it all on the offering. You know they didn't drop all that on the offering. You know they didn't. Friends, it's okay. You can come anytime to the lives. Also, I'm so excited because they post onto the channel, so you can always watch them back. And I would always appreciate, you guys know, I always appreciate your watch time. A minimalist, Aaron, is somebody who like keeps like a minimal amount of material objects. So sometimes I get kind of bad about it too, where I'll even be like something that's sentimental. I'm like, no, no, no. Yes, John, if we profess to be Christian, shouldn't we be Christ-like? We should. We should. But how many people miss the mark? So many, right? Unfortunately. And we're all going to screw up. We're all going to have our bad days. We're going to have moments where we're caught off guard or we're scared or, whatever. And we're going to have a human response. So, but in the meantime, we can do our best, right? What's your favorite color? It's yellow right now. Oh, Bradley, I pray that God brings your YouTube with blessings and its overflow for you. Thank you. That makes me so want to cry because that's very sweet. So like, share, subscribe, comment. I don't know all the stuff you can do on here, but I feel like it's that. Right? Isn't it? You can subscribe, you can like stuff, you can share it, you can comment. Yes, I got it. How do I become a better person, though? Sometimes I wish I could meet myself to see how I present myself and act. Oh, interesting. That's why you have to have intimate relationships with other believers so they can sharpen you, they can hold you accountable. And if you have close friends right now, just be like, hey, how do I come across? You can ask them. How do you become a better person? I think like you follow so closely to Jesus that you get the dust from his sandals on your own feet. It's not easy. It's also not what the world tells you to do to be a good person. The world always like, do what you love, follow your heart. And Jesus is like, don't follow your heart, follow me. And it's all different. Okay, so John says, so what are your plans for your channel? I've enjoyed your prayers and scripture. What are your end goals? I would love to, y'all, I would love to get your opinions on this because like I have told you all before, I have a lot of friends who are agnostic or atheist. I also have a lot of friends who are Christians. I would love to be able to come on and do lives with them and interview them, but I would want to make sure that it's a safe space that I could bring someone who's an atheist on here and just talk with them about their life, why they don't follow Jesus, what are their thoughts of Christians, things like that. I think that would be really, really interesting to do. But I would also want to know that the people on this channel were going to be kind and they weren't going to be, nasty to somebody who doesn't believe. Because in this community, in this space, you belong before you believe, right? Y'all know I have said that before. And a relationship with Christ is transformational. It is not transactional, ever. So, let's see. Spread the light. Did someone remove your comment? What comment? Try it again. I haven't removed anything. Look, here's my hands. I haven't removed anything. Yes, the world forgot that we can have a difference of opinion and still get along. Yeah. Should I go to bed if I have a big test tomorrow? What time's your test? If it's not till 3 p.m., I think you're fine. Right? Okay, just came across my channel. I think it's great. Well, thank you. You need more Christian friends? Yeah, I feel that. I even have like some very close first hour, 7 to 8. Yeah, you should go to bed, Logan. I have some very close Christian friends, and we deeply disagree on certain things. But the funny thing is there's stuff that we disagree on that they don't even know that I disagree with them because I've just let it go. It doesn't matter in the timeline of eternity. It doesn't matter. Oh, thank you, Brian. That's very sweet. Yes, I love and adore my atheist and agnostic friends. So I would love to have them come on and just share, because maybe it would be eye opening for other Christians to see, oh, hey, this is how we are viewed by the world, or this is how um, someone who's not a believer has experienced the church. And we can do better. We can always do better, you know? Yeah. Oh my goodness, y'all are wonderful. I know it's getting late. It's probably late where you are. If you have a last question, hurry up and put it in, because otherwise I'm gonna log off myself. Um, and I appreciate each of you. I, of course, as usual, I'll put my link tree in the description so you can see how to support me, all that good stuff. Because a lot of people end up asking that question. What are some things to look at when choosing a church to attend? I think look at, are they preaching from the Bible? If they're not, then you know, um, then get out of there. Are you having community? Are they spirit led? I think there's I can't remember what it's called, but it's like 7 pillars of the church or something like that. And it's a good frame of reference for those kind of things. Regarding trivial differences, don't major in minors. Yes, exactly. Am I going to do more Bible readings tomorrow? You guys know it. You know it. I did like this live. Thank you. Nobody called me a bad name this time. So that's always good. I always appreciate that. Have I had any biblical type dreams? I can't remember. Probably, but I can't remember. So, nobody broke out the C word this time, Brian. Yes, that happened several times last time, just from one particular individual who I had to block. And I don't like blocking people because then I'm like, oh, I don't want to. I want them to, hear the word, but it's also, I've had to reconcile that in myself where I'm like, listen, if they're being nasty, there's only so much I can do, but I also have to keep myself safe, right? Can't wait to hang out with you in heaven. Oh, bring the chips and dip. Yeah, you better. You guys are wonderful. So wonderful. Should you stop asking a friend to go to church when it's too pushy or overwhelming? I want to be a good friend and share the love of Christ. Okay, wonderful question. I would say maybe don't do it all the time. If you feel that they're kind of like having discomfort towards it, maybe don't do it all the time. But you could also like casually drop it into conversation. I've been doing this with a friend of mine where I'm like, hey, I'm like, the message was so good, because they'll ask, like, how was your weekend? I'm like, great. I went to church, blah, blah, blah. The message was so good. I think you would really like it. And fortunately, what I have the luxury of like my church's stuff is on YouTube. So I can always, and that person follows their YouTube, even though they don't go to church. And so then I casually drop it in, or I'm like, maybe you'd want to go with me next week because they're doing this or they're doing that or whatever. So, yeah. Anyway, I would say just you'll kind of know. You'll kind of be able to tell by their body language, if it's okay to like keep saying it or not keep saying it. But I would say don't stop unless they actually tell you to stop, or unless they're like, you know, visually uncomfortable, or you can sense that they're uncomfortable, just hold off. But I think there's probably a lot of us here who've been like, hey, I was the friend who kept getting asked to go to church and I kept saying no. And then eventually one day I said yes. Not to like relent to their request, but just because I was like, sure, why not? If it means this much, why not? Let's see. Hi, Noodle. Thank you. Thank you. Yeah, some people aren't receptive. It's just our job to plant a seed. That's right. That's really right. Um, and please don't be like weird or obnoxious about it. I think some people are kind of like cringy about it. So don't do that, you know. Just try to like casually discuss it. When people are like, "How was your weekend?" I'm like, "Yeah, it was great." And they're like, "What'd you do?" I'm like, "Well, I did this and I did this and I went to church and blah blah blah." You know, and most people are like really really kind and receptive about it. Oh, she's asleep under the desk and she's being very cute. Why am I whispering? As if like she's not gonna. Okay, what if you've stopped going to church, but your relationship has gotten more stronger with God without being at church because the Lord has revealed more deep things than being in church? Well, Julia, that's great. However, I'm gonna pause you there because maybe maybe it was a time for you to be out of church and just be with God. But I'd like to challenge you to find a church community that loves and pursues Jesus and loves you. Let them be your family. They're not going to be perfect. You will never find a perfect church. If any of you are waiting to find a perfect church to go to, it's not going to happen because the church is made up of human beings. And as you all know, we are messed up and weird and flawed, deeply flawed, but we were created for community. We are created for community with God, community with other believers, community with other people. So I encourage you to please, please, please find a church. Don't build your foundation on those people, build your foundation on Christ, but definitely find yourself a church family that you can be a part of. And even if that means you go and for however an extended period of time, you're not volunteering, you're not doing whatever, you're just kind of like there. I think that's okay. Some people need that time to heal, from a bad church environment previously. Let's see. Any advice for someone who's still trying to define their relationship with God, especially when you've had people try to define it for you all your life? What an interesting question. Um, I mean, your relationship with God is personal. It can be private. It can be, just it's the same thing as having a relationship with another human, right? With like your best friend or someone else that you love and care about. It's that same thing where like it needs to be active. It needs to you need to spend time with that person. You need to talk to that person, right? So I encourage you to like keep doing that. Keep reading the Bible, keep learning about the character of Christ. I'm starting to go to a new church this Sunday. It is a new church that my sister has started to go to. My sister hasn't been to church in ages, but it's refreshing to try to go. Austin, that's wonderful. That's really wonderful. I came across your channel during a dark time in my life. Thanks for your videos, reading the Bible, getting to a better place in my life. Well, okay, you're going to make me cry. Because listen, it's not me that is helping you, that is Jesus helping you, right? Find a church that loves you and Jesus. Yes. Find a church that loves you and Jesus, for sure. Definitely, definitely. What is my testimony? That is such a loaded question. It's one that we probably don't have time for tonight because it is a lot. But I will eventually share that with you all. Also, I would love to share some short films of mine with you all. But I don't know if you guys are ready to handle it because they're not Christian films. quote unquote Christian films. Um, oh, you all are so wonderful. What if every church I've went to, they've spoken about me in the altar and my family in a way that I feel that they have a camera in my house watching me 24/7? Well, that's a different kind of experience, isn't it? I think I would, if I were you, my biggest advice would be before you go into the church building, like before you step foot in there, ask Holy Spirit to accompany you, ask God to give you discernment, be obvious. I often, because I'm such a dum dum, I will literally be like, God, please do this thing, but please be so obvious, please. Because I'm like, Jesus, you know I can justify anything. So I need you to be incredibly obvious. So, um, and just give it a chance. Give it a chance. So, but yeah, if you're uncomfortable in that kind of way, or you're feeling, I think if you're feeling that something is off, go with your gut, because you will find a place as long as you keep looking. Thank you, Leo, for all of your prayers. Yes, I know the algorithm doesn't like it. The algorithm tends to like people to be one dimensional, but I refuse to follow the algorithm. And that's also why I put comedy on my channel. So, and I think you'll find that in my about section on my page where I'm like, listen, I know social media loves an algorithm and they love people to be one dimensional, but I refuse. And that's true. So I'm still going to put them on my channel. All right. Well, you all listen, let's pray it out as normal, as we usually do. I appreciate each and every one of you. I thank you all so much for being on here. I got to do the plugs where I'm like, subscribe, share, follow, comment, all those good things. Thank you so much for being here. Is there humor in the Bible? Yes. Have you ever read the story where Jesus met up with the two guys after his resurrection? They were, this makes me laugh every time I read it. But they're walking on the road. Jesus is walking on the road. They don't recognize him. Totally fine. And then they kind of like realize that it's him, but like he keeps walking and they're like, oh, hey, what were you doing? He was like, well, I was just going to keep walking. I don't know why, but that always makes me laugh. And I think that there's humor. There's a lot of humor in the Bible. All right, let's pray it out, friends. Okay. Dear God, thank you so much for this amazing time of fellowship that we got to have together. Thank you for this platform, Lord, that allows your word to be spread, allows your community to be built. I'm so grateful for each and every person that was here tonight. I'm so thankful for all the love and respect and growth, desire for growth that they have shown. I'm thankful that for each and every person who has such a desire to know you and to pursue you. I thank you that the posture of their heart is kneeling before you. God, I pray for courage and strength for each person here who has a desire to spread your word to people who don't know you. I also pray for those who are looking for a church to call home, that they would find that place, that they would get plugged in somewhere and they would find a wonderful church community, a wonderful church family, a place to call home where they can learn about you, they can share you, and they can be sharpened by other believers. God, we love you so much. We thank you so much for this time together. And I pray that we would continue to see you throughout our day and in each and every moment. Please remind us that you are here with us always and that you love and you adore us and give us the strength and the power to convey that to others. And we love you. It is in Jesus' name I pray. Amen. Awesome. Thank you all so much. Y'all are so wonderful. I appreciate each and every one of you. I can't wait to go live again because this is always such a treat. It is so much fun. And I appreciate you all being here. Next time, come with your questions, come with And again, though, you all know I never know the answer. I'm just like, well, we'll try it out and then we'll see what happens. We're going to learn together, we're going to grow together, and we're going to do our best together. So I pray that you use your day tomorrow or the rest of this night or whatever. Please use it to love somebody so deeply and so wonderfully. Use your time and your resources and your words to bless somebody. Now you go off and have a wonderful day.